everyone, welcome back to my channel. We all know that October 31st is Halloween, but I'm not very sure how many of you know that November 1st and 2nd is a festival called Dia de Muertos in Mexico. Well, I didn't know when I came here to Mexico that there was a festival like this. It's called Dia de Muertos or Day of the Dead. Frankly speaking, when I came here the first 1 year or 2 years, I really thought that Halloween and Dia de Muertos are the same. I just thought it was a Mexican name of calling Halloween. But later is when I came to know that it's completely different. And in fact, many Mexicans get offended if you tell them that it's the same. So don't do that mistake. So in this video, I will take you around Querétaro and show you what is the difference between Halloween and Day of the Dead. So let's go. So I first went to Walmart to buy some candies to give to the kids because they come home on Halloween night for trick or treat. So you can see how many varieties of candies they have here just for this occasion. And obviously the supermarkets are all decked up according to the seasonal festival. So since it's Halloween, they have the mask and costumes everywhere. In India, we don't find costumes or dresses in supermarket unless it's a big one. But usually the small supermarkets don't have clothes or costumes. But here, this is what I like is I can find costume in HEB or in Walmart, which is really good because I don't have to really go to a costume store to buy one. Only problem that you would have is if you buy from here, you will definitely see someone else wearing the same costume. But I think for kids it's fine because they grow so fast and we cannot really use the same costume for the next year. So here in Walmart it's reasonable and we can use it like every year we can purchase a new one for the kids. In India, Halloween is not that popular. Well, it is kind of popular now in most of the metropolitan cities, but I think other places in India it's not that popular. Hence, you won't find such variety of things or decorations of Halloween in India. So I really enjoy watching these when I come here in the supermarket. This was in Liverpool, where there was a small section for Dia de Muertos or Day of the Dead. This is called La Catrina. This is the main representation of Day of the Dead. It basically means no matter what you look like or where you come from, you will end up a skeleton in the end. And that's why they have all these skeletons dressed up very elegantly, which means like however you are dressed, at the end you will become a skeleton. So that's what it represents. In the video later, I will show you more about this La Catrina, the different style they decorate it or they use it in the altar. And that's of course the Halloween costumes, or you can also use this as a decoration in front of your house or in some party. So my kids were dressed up like this. Alekia was dressed up like the Little Red Riding Hood and Ananya was dressed up like a monk or a member of secret society, as she says. On 31st night, kids went around the houses which had the Halloween decoration, which means that they have candies and they are going to give the candies. They don't disturb the houses which don't have the decorations. So here you can see that small kids are accompanied by their parents, and kids like mine, they just go around with friends. On 31st evening, since it was a weekend, we decided to go to Centro to see how Centro was decked up for the big day, the Dia de Muertos. Because it's a big celebration here in Mexico, we thought we would go and see. Before showing you more about Dia de Muertos, let me first explain what it is because I'm sure many of my Indian friends don't know what is Dia de Muertos or Day of the Dead. Basically, it is a holiday celebrated by Mexicans here on 1st and 2nd November. It is a holiday which involves family and friends gathering to pay respect and to remember friends or family members who are no more. So we Indians also have something like this called a shraddh, which we do where we pay respect to the people who are no more in our lives. So this is something like that. And for this, they make a altar which has 3 or 7 steps. You can see that here. So this was in Centro, and I was surprised to see that one area was completely dedicated for this. And when I asked one of the persons there, he told me that these were the altars of people in that neighborhood. So this was the first one, and you can see what all they have. In the altar, they must have obviously the photo of the person for whom they are paying the respect, and these decorative papers that you can see in different colors: pink, purple, orange. Then they have skeleton, water, candles, and fruits. And there's a special bread called pan de muertos, which I have in one of my shorts video. And this was the second altar. So they almost have the same things, only the decoration style would be different. So here you can see the fruits. They usually keep things what the person likes, like for example, if the person likes to drink or if he likes to smoke, they even keep cigarettes and alcohol there for the person. And these marigold flowers play a very important role here. You will see these flowers all over Mexico during this time. And this was the third altar that I went, and there it's written Barrio La Piedad, which means the neighborhood, the name of that neighborhood. Also, please forgive me if there are any mistakes in what I'm saying about diademuertos. I'm not a Mexican, and obviously I don't know 100% about it. And on the back side there were other people's altar too, and you can see how people formed a line to go around and to see this. Not everyone keeps this at home, so people generally come here to see how it is done here in Centro. Everyone has their own creative style of making this altar. So you can see the sweet bread that I was talking about, fruits, candle, and it seems they also keep soap, water, towel and a mirror, so that when the soul comes from the afterlife on this Day of the Dead, they can comfortably stay and freshen up and feel comfortable during these 2 days. Isn't that a sweet gesture? Just like how they give candies for Halloween, on this day, Day of the Dead, they usually give a decorative skull made with sugar. Here you can see they have just started setting up the altar. Then we went to the other side of the downtown. Actually, the place was so crowded that my husband could not find a parking space. He dropped me at one place and he was going around while I was taking the video, and then I got into the car and then we went to the other side. Fortunately, he got a parking there, and then we got down and started walking. And I have already shown you this side of downtown in my previous videos, but as I told you, I just came here to see how they had decorated for Day of the Dead. And this is the Casa de la Corregidora, if you remember, and this time this was open. Remember I told you I wanted to go inside and see how it was, but those days it was closed, and today it was open for the public. They had an altar inside, so we could go inside. So people were forming a line and I joined the line too. The line was moving fast, so it didn't take much time waiting there. So this is how it looked inside. I was really excited to go inside because I have always seen this building from out and I wanted to know how it was from inside. So this is how it looked. It had a beautiful altar in middle of this grand hall. And this altar was for Mr. Vincent Guerrero. He was one of the leading revolutionary generals of the Mexican War of Independence, which they fought against Spain. So here again you can see the things like the candle, the fruits, vegetables. That is pan de muerto, the sweet bread, the special sweet bread they keep during this time. And the skull, the white skull that you see, that is the sweet skull which they usually give. And here they had written what all is kept in an altar. There are some 13 objects that they have kept. And that is La Catrina, which is a very strong symbol for the Day of the Dead. Women here paint their faces in this colorful makeup and dress up like this. I will show you later in the video where you would see some ladies dressed up like La Catrina. La Catrina is a popular tourist fascination and can be found in statue form in many local stores throughout Mexico. It would be made out of wood, clay, or any other material. And that is Senor Agustin. He is another Mexican army general during the Independence War. What surprised me the most was that there were so many people who were coming inside, but they all came in silently, looked at the altar, walked around without making any noise. They just admired the altar and paid their respects. I will leave the next clip without muting it and you will see it by yourself. And that's the statue of Mr. Corregidor, Mr. Miguel Dominguez. And next to him there was a statue of his wife, Corregidora Josefa Ortiz. I had shown her statue in the downtown video, which was on the other side of the downtown. So that is the building that we went inside now to check the altar. This is one of the most important buildings here in Querétaro downtown. I think I have already shown this in my couple of previous videos. And on the opposite to that building was this altar, which was dedicated to Mr. Rosalio Solano. He is a famous award-winning filmmaker of Mexican film industry. So this was more into film style. That's why they had pictures of people from the film industry, the actors, actresses, and filmmakers. People were standing around this and taking pictures. Obviously it was a very good place to take pictures, and some were lighting candles too. And then we saw these three beautiful ladies dressed up like La Catrinas, and I requested if I could take a picture with them, and they were kind enough to let me do that. So this is the thing that I was talking about, that here most of the Mexicans or the tourists love to get dressed like La Catrina on this day or any other day, as La Catrina is a very strong visual image depicting how the Mexican people see death and the afterlife. So I hope now you have a better picture of the difference between Halloween and the Day of the Dead. As I told you, I didn't know about this when I came to Mexico initially. I seriously thought that Day of the Dead or diademuertos is a Halloween day, and it was just a Spanish way or a Spanish word of saying Halloween. But later, as I started living here and knowing Mexican culture more, that's when I came to know that it's completely different. There is a cartoon movie called Coco. If you haven't watched it, do watch it. I had mentioned this before also in my video, that movie shows a real representation of diademuertos. Do watch it if you haven't. And then while we were going back, we also noticed that in Centro they had a lot of such hoardings or billboards which had the places of Querétaro. And the best part is you could scan it and see where this plays and know more about it. So at the end of the day, my kids got a lot of candies from Halloween trick or treat. You can see the variety of candies that they got here. And they sometimes give juice and chips or different kinds of things. So my kids really like to go even if they're teenagers now. And this is one variety candy that I found in their bag, so I thought I'll just show you. So I hope you enjoyed my vlog. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.